Hey guys, Christmas, New Year, everything is over, the party is done. It is 2021, and hopefully, this will be a year to celebrate a slightly happier year than 2020 was. Although this first week hasn't been looking great so far. But, anyways, we are
I
here
think
to
it's
bring
going
you
pretty well.
pretty decently. An entire volcano hasn't, erupted and killed us all, so that's nice.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is episode 162 of 4PlayerAnimecast, and all four of us are here to bring you some winter cheer, some New Year's cheer to carry on for the next couple of days. And it is the first part, of course, of our winter 2021 anime season reviews, not previews. I almost said previews, but reviews. And we are off to a blazing start as usual. We're going to have six, I believe, six part review of this season because it's going to be the weeks of episodes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11, right? And then we're going to. No, it's going to be five. Yeah, five, and then previews, and then we're going to go into the next one. So it's going to be our usual 5 episode season. Just rushing right in. Obviously, a lot of good, solid series and premises probably coming in as we discussed in our previous preview show. But yeah, without further ado, here are my compatriots: Near,
Hi.
Dark,
Hey.
and Toast.
You're making me do a podcast when Tokino Sora is on Coco's meme review right now. What is wrong with you?
It's almost like
Yikes.
Meme review.
It's almost like they record this so that you can watch it later in a VOD.
I want to see Coco get cancelled by Yagu live on stream.
Anyways, how have all of your past 2 weeks been? Obviously, again, very busy, very interesting week in terms of news headlines in the past week, and obviously Christmas and New Year as well. So, I mean, again, the past 2 weeks aren't exactly peaceful, right? Especially if family has come around. What about you, Near? How have your past 2 weeks been?
Oh, they've been fucking awesome, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. News aside,
Preferably.
which I'm
Yes,
sure I'll
fine.
probably talk about later. But I've been playing Shadowverse,
More
Um,
Shadowverse. Yes.
yeah. Last season, I hit Grandmasters, which was
Mm-hmm.
cool.
And also painful.
Yeah, was pretty bad near the end because every time you get like to the end, like the last 1,000 points,
Uh-huh.
or even the last like 500 points, it feels like pretty much every opponent the game matches you up against is like
Try to gatekeep
fucking
you.
like a rage grand finalist or some shit. And it's like, bro, why?
Can't
Like,
handle
why are
this.
you doing
Yeah.
this to me? You'll be at 990, 9,950 points, and you're like, I only need one more game.
Yeah,
And then
everybody's
it's
trying to just try to gatekeep you as hard as
And then
possible.
it's like, yeah, you match up with some dude that gets like literally the perfect draws. And you're like, bro, why are you doing this? Just give it to me. But yeah, I got it in the end. My
Congratulations.
shiny animated card sleeves. Um, and I might do it again this season because the new expansion came out. Um, and the new card sleeves are really nice. There's this really cool like purple.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're really good looking.
Nice.
But yeah, the current expansion's pretty good so far too. A lot of aggro, which has
Agroforest, right? I believe is.
aggro forest, aggro shadow, and there is a uh very popular variant of aggro dragon right now. Although
Oh, I've
it's
seen
not
that Agro Dragon, but it's a little bit
yeah,
more niche. Yeah.
it's not like as fast as aggro shadow, but it is still quite strong.
Yeah.
Um,
From what I've seen, that variant is trying to like combine everything. It's trying to combine aggro ramp and then some other meme stuff. And it's like,
yeah, it's pretty good. Especially when you get the cards you want, right? But the problem is it doesn't really have draw. So if you can
ah,
stall it out, um, they kind of lose momentum pretty hard.
right, right.
Uh, but I've been playing a lot of a new archetype, which I hope they support later on, which is Evolve Portal Craft.
Like
Which is
Evolve
pretty
Sword, but
cool.
with Portal, yeah.
Yeah. The new legendaries they added, which is Tien and Fiora, which are like the twins from Grand Blue. They have they're like Super Skybound art is basically like Tien's gives Storm to literally every single card in your hand, right?
Okay.
And then Fiora's Super Skybound art is all of your allied followers that are on the board can attack 2 times per turn, right? So the idea is obviously to get them into your hand as soon as possible. And then you start evoing like fucking crazy, which you can do a lot. Evolve or Portalcraft got like a lot of cards that are capable of like giving you like 3 or 4 evolves in like a single turn.
Mhm.
It's pretty awesome, pretty fun, and you can usually get like a 30 plus damage OTK out on like turn
Mhm.
9, assuming you get the right draws, which is really really fun.
Okay.
It's like I think it's like tier 2 ish because obviously there's a bit of consistency issues with like having you kind of need to draw like 2 specific cards before you even start evolving. But it's a really fun deck.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, just been keeping busy. Um, I'm probably gonna try to catch up on some of the series I fell behind on last season.
Right.
Before this season starts really picking up. But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nier, for helping to cover what you did past 2 weeks. Obviously, a lot of Shadowverse as per usual. What about you, Toast?
What? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes.
Yeah, 1 week, bro.
2020 never existed.
Bad stuff happened. But okay. Sure. I don't know. What do you want me to talk about?
Your past 2 weeks? That's sort of the subject matter right now.
Pretty bad.
Okay. Personally, or
Yeah, sure.
okay?
Anime wise, I read X Arms. It's kind of interesting. I sure hope the anime will live up to its expectations.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm so
Okay.
excited.
me too.
I'm not.
I mean, I'm excited for the wrong reasons, but
Yeah.
Essential had her meme review a couple of days ago. It was pretty good. Pretty good meme review, even though some of them were pretty bad memes. But
Shocker.
the winner was pretty good, so props to that. Oh, hello. Props to that. Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty good.
Oh, I did watch. I watched Dark Side of Dimensions again because it's pretty cool, and the Broly movie 'cause it's also pretty cool.
Going through all of the old movies, right?
I'm watching Subaru's Majora's Mask playthrough.
Okay. Some more Hololive stuff. More.
You want me
movie
to talk about Hololive? I can talk about Hololive.
No,
That's what I've been watching.
It is fine. Dark.
I've been still been playing a lot of WoW. Still been playing a shitload of Grand Blue.
Mm-hmm.
That game's fun.
I don't know if that's the word I would use.
I think
Fun, dude. But yeah,
the Grind Blue experience.
yeah. Got fucked on rolls this year during like New Year's and stuff, so that's like kind of cool. Now I'm
Okay.
slowly making my way through some of Fate Grand Order. You know, been getting fucked on my regular roles in that too, so that's fun.
Oh, you play Fake Grand Order?
Yeah,
Name
welcome
every
to
servant.
the game.
You know, Saber.
Damn. He's in.
Yeah, you could say I'm like kind of a fan. I've watched all the animes
Who's your favorite servant?
except for the movies.
Who's your favorite servant? Me and Nier have to compare to see who would win in the Holy Grail War.
My favorite servant?
Yeah.
Probably Mordred.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
You know who my favorite servant is, dude.
But what
Exactly.
if it changed?
Yeah, what if it changed?
Yeah, what if I just betrayed my wife?
Over the weekend, you know, you had a bit of a change of heart.
So Nier, who would win in a fight between us three for the Holy Grail War? Fire, you want in on this?
No, I'm.
Wait, we
I'm
all like a
not
fucking
enough
variation of Saber too.
Yeah, I mean, Nero is like the ass pull of the servant, so probably Nero. Like,
Yeah, but like Mordred has a helmet sometimes. So, and did you see how fast she was in that first episode of
yeah,
Apocrypha?
she goes really fast.
She was really fucking fast. So, but yeah, my week wasn't that crazy. There was.
Could Mordred survive
you
the
know,
darkening? The black? What is it? The blackening?
Is it?
What's it called?
Blackening?
I don't
Excuse
know,
me?
dude. Isn't that what?
Yeah.
that's like what happens to Shiro
I
when
don't know
he gets
about
guns.
Yeah,
that one.
blackened by
know.
the Holy Grail. Hey,
I
what are
don't know
you
if this
talking
actually
about,
was-
Spire?
Okay, so anyways, I guess.
But yeah, my weeks were all right. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody had a pretty interesting 2 weeks. I wasn't too much different. I had my family
What
come over.
VNs have you been keeping up with, Spire? I heard you're in some sort of new VN.
He's in
I
one.
Yeah,
was-
you're in it.
I was into VN. Which one did I say I was into? Because the thing
You,
was,
you tell me, Spire.
so okay. So what happened
Man's
recently?
playing the new Neko Para, but he doesn't want to admit
Yeah,
it.
the new Megapar.
Which one? Wait, which one of you link the weight gaining VN to me? Was it from here or from somewhere, or did
It
I
was
get it
what?
from
from somewhere
here,
else?
but it certainly wasn't any of us.
Oh, never mind then.
Um,
I thought it was you, Spire.
Oh, wait, was
So
it Spire?
Was it?
what
Spire,
is
was it you?
What? Wait, what are you
The
talking
like
about?
fucking the one about like freshman 15.
That was definitely not me. Somebody
That-
meme posted that. I think it was like Session or Cheddar or whoever it was. But it
Was
was
it?
definitely not me. I don't even look on Steam for visual novels in the first place. I just get them from other places.
But it's
Like,
a
I've never-
premier visual novel marketplace, dude.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I s-
All the Steam units.
I was linked it from VNDB. I thought it was you.
No, I don't. I don't search Western visual novels in the first place. So it's
Wow, why do you hate
Wow,
English?
kind of racist, dude.
yeah. I just hate white people. Sorry, guys.
I bet you don't even like Hololive English, even though they speak your language.
They speak the language of your. They speak the language of my people. Yes. Anyways, the interesting. That's a funny thing you mentioned, because the last couple of weeks have been pretty chaotic. I want to say. I didn't get to really mention because obviously awards show and preview stuff like that. But my family came over after Christmas and throughout the year, so that was a little bit hectic. And then, what is it? Oh yeah, so near Christmas or just before, my old laptop literally just failed. like I'm pretty sure a decent amount of my C drive sectors are corrupted. My main drive sectors are corrupted, and the auxiliary drive, the D drive, pretty much that's dead. The D drive is dead, and I might see if I can go for data recovery and load $300. That I might have to. But either way, So my old laptop was dead, and it was pretty much just like a little bit before Christmas podcast or the 6th. So I like mega panicked because I also do my work on my laptop, obviously, and I immediately just ended up buying an entire new laptop. And so that happened, and then obviously since I lost a lot of most of my data, I got fucked. I might download some other stuff, but I was going
Just
through
download more RAM, bro.
Yeah, I should. But I was going through. I was trying to go through my text again, but it was like, oh, the pace is so slow, and it's just all it's doing is explaining trains instead of doing character development. I was just sitting here thinking, please expand upon what the characters are thinking. Stop telling me about trains.
You know, the problem could be solved if the characters were trains.
I mean, half the characters are trains, and it's still not.
You should just become like a super duper like train otaku, dude.
Yeah, I should just
then-
Oh, what's the
buy.
what's the word? What's the word again? Where
Autistic.
people like trains?
Yeah.
A rail fan. That's the word. Train spotter.
Train spotter.
Pharaoh equinologist.
But yes. So I want to. I'm slowly losing more and more time because I'm just trying to split my time into doing other stuff, so I don't have less and less time to go through VNs. But I still want to go back to I want to still start up Amakano, and there's rumors, there's murmurings on the horizon that Ayuku no Yustia is getting more translation, although I've pretty much read a decent amount of it already raw, so it doesn't matter that way. So that'll be nice for people. Riddle Joker, right? Riddle Joker translated. God, there's pretty much. I think these days the dam has broken for visual novels. It's been such a long while, but these days they've seen, and it's so stupid too. Because fuck, I almost want to make this like a shadow call out, but it's not like I don't even feel like it's either a shout out or a call out. It's more just it's almost like a combination of both. But I've been saying for the longest time, right? Almost every other podcast where they have news about how anime industry people don't get treated well or whatever it is, or studios are going bankrupt or blah 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 blah, right? I've always said that the solution is digitalization and globalization, right? Digitalize stuff so
This guy's a
that
globalist. Holy shit.
Yeah, New World Order,
If you
baby.
love the Earth so much, why don't you save it?
Sorry. But it's globalization, right? If the marketplace expands, and guess what? There's a huge marketplace for anime stuff. Believe it or not, it might be surprising to people. And it's when I saw the visual novel stuff, globalized, right? When the first initial sort of, I guess, Sekai project, but I think it was a little bit after that when Denpasoft and Manga Gamers really started getting their momentum too, because they were like, oh shit, Sekai project is doing stuff, so we better do something. And they got their groove on, and then Nisa NIS started doing stuff, and everybody kind of started competing with each other, and the pace really expanded. You could see it exponentially expand, and the market supported it, right? I mean, if they didn't support it, they wouldn't be doing this, right? So it's expanding and expanding and expanding, and now we literally have famous visual novels, just Ayuku no Yustia, Riddle Joker, all the Ubisoft August, whatever, all the 1.5 tier 2 studios just coming out the wazoo, right? We have freaking famous popular visual novels in Japan just even published 1 or 2 years ago. Just boom, 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 coming out. And why wasn't that done before? Was it because of some, magic technology that had been invented? No, it's because now Japanese developers actually realize, Japanese publishing companies and people at the top realize that globalization is the way to go. It's not just some magical, subsidizing whatever. It's selling it to more people who want the product. They're not like people aren't out here. Anime fans aren't out here.
No, I think if they got the government to spend exorbitant amounts of money into
cool
training, you know, visual novel like programmers. I think that would really like boost the industry.
Or duty free tomatoes in the middle of airports or something like that, like
Yeah,
what GameX
yeah.
did, or yeah. But it's just like it baffles me why people aren't seeing this. What happened to the visual novel industry, and just applying it to everything. Just applying it to everything. Just everything in the anime industry, manga. Light novels is happening a little bit more nowadays, but it needs to happen at an exponential pace. And again, the same with manga. It doesn't. It needs to stop being bottleneck. There are thousands of people that are probably willing to properly translate stuff if people again stop taking the time, or if publishers spend a little bit more of their money on the lower grassroots level people doing the hard work, and less on fucking like radio CD shit or whatever, right? just something, anything. So it's just seeing this is very gratifying to me, and it's also very frustrating. So that's sort of my side rant. But other than that, I haven't been up to too much. Just again, real life stuff, balancing out all of the things, getting ready for the new season. And I've been a little bit sad these days because where I live, it's literally been just days upon days upon days of it. It's the closest thing I've had to being in Pittsburgh since I left Pittsburgh. It's so bad. It's just every day. Even like the days that are supposed to be bright aren't bright. They're just bleak, gray skies, and it's kind of warm, but there's still no sun. And then it turns into cold, and everything's just depressing. And the warm days are 0 to 1 degree Celsius, and everybody's just sitting there in their cars, and it's just
That sounds nice. Yeah,
And
try that here, but instead it's just always cold.
yeah, always -7 degrees.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unfortunate. But other than that, it's been all right. Anyways, on to the previews, or excuse me, reviews. So, without further ado, I'm going to go
If there's a preview and a review, what's an interview?
What?
What?
Please.
Pre is past, right?
Yeah, it's
Review is future.
Inter's, yeah.
So
Inter's
interview
present.
is present. What?
Yeah. I think you're using the wrong inter, but yes. Anyways, we are going to go on with Toast. We're going to start off with Toast, and you're covering, I believe, Tenchi Souzou Design
that's
right, or Heaven's Design Team.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
So,
design.
okay, there we go.
This series,
There we
right?
So, no.
I don't know why
Wait,
the
which
image
one is
looked
this?
like that.
What?
What? You did
What'd you do?
Design Bu, where they make all the animals.
Oh, so this show lied to me. The art kind of the protagonist guy kind of looked like the artist who did Nanatsu no Taizai and Kogo Bancho. So I was like, oh damn, I'm in on this.
Wait,
But
did you
apparently
expect it to be like Nanatsu no Taizai? I don't think that's no.
No, I wanted it to be like Kongo Bancho because
Okay.
that series is the best. But see, I saw the art and I was like, hey, this eye style looks familiar, but apparently it's not. It's not even the same studio. Nanatsu no Taizai is A1. This one is
Asahi Production.
What? Yeah. And they didn't do Nanatsu no Taizai. They did Hime Goto and Madaka Box.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So yeah. What about this series? You know how Moses created the 40 animals that live on the ark, survive
Moses
the
created
nuclear winter?
No.
How does it go? How does it go?
Close.
Noah's Ark.
Noah
Nope.
herded. Yes, Noah herded the animals onto the ark. And,
Yes, so to survive the nuclear winter that happened later, something like that.
Sure. Let's just take it like that.
So this show was like, God was like, damn, I'm creating too many animals. I need to outsource my animal creations to some random angels that work in some sort of government firm or whatnot, and that's what this series is.
So-
God's like, hey, I need an animal that does this or this, and the design team is like, all right, well we'll round table some interesting concept to work with it.
Is there a specific sort of comedy series that this reminds you of? Or similar comedy series that this reminds you of?
I've heard I've heard people say it's kind of like Cells at Work kind of ish comedy, where
Oh, Cells at Work, huh? Okay.
it's educational comedy in a way.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't watch.
Is there a lot of trivia?
There's a lot. I didn't watch. What is it? Kimono Friends. Did that have a lot of animal trivia?
Sort of, not really.
So anyway, whoa. The first episode, God was like, "Hey, I need an animal that can reach to the top of trees and eat the leaves. Have at it." So like, damn, okay. So this one old dude is like, "Hey, you know my masterpiece design was the horse, all right? So let's make a horse that can that. So let me make a horse that can eat the leaves at the top of the tree. Bam! Let's add wings to it. There, now it's Pegasus." And and some other dude was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make some really weird. I'm not gonna abide by the norms of society. Here's a weird looking tree that can stretch and elongate to whatever it wants, and it's got these bubbles.
Mhm.
It's got these bubbles on its end that you can use to trap prey and leaves. So if you need an animal to eat leaves at the top of the tree, here you go. It's a weird tree, a weird sponge tree. What's it called? A ping pong tree.
So it's focusing a little bit more on the like what they're designing instead of the cast members, right?
Sure. But all the
'Cause-
cast members are pretty unique in their own way. I guess they could say they're masters in certain archetypes of animals. Like there's this really fancy dude chick who's like, oh, I need animals to be beautiful and whatnot, and they're a master of creating birds. The other dude I talked about earlier, the old man, he likes horses. There's some other dude who only wants to create animals that are delicious, and his masterpiece is the cow. So he's only interested in making animals that taste good. And some other dude, I think it was like masterpiece was a deer, something like that. I don't know,
okay.
but deer and horse are kind of similar. And then there's some other chick whose masterpiece was the frog, and so then they explore. So they come up with some crazy ideas that somehow end up working in a way. It's a pretty interesting show to see.
So they do, from what I'm hearing, it seems like they do a decent job in balancing both like sort of it's mostly sort of trivia, like animal trivia, but they're kind of shoving in a little bit of character quirks and humor on the side, right? Is what I'm hearing? Yeah. Because whenever I hear this series, I keep wanting to link it back to African Salaryman. Again, the series where it's just office workers and it's like Dilbert, but um, it's with African safari animals, right? Anthropomorphic safari animals. right? So that's what I always want to compare it to. But it does seem like, as you said, a little bit more like cells at work.
This show is pretty great. So
Alright.
like, what?
Yeah, go on.
So how they solve this animal that can eat leaves at the top of the tree problems? Some dude was like, hey, let's just give it really long, like just give it a really long neck. Let's just you know that deer, the deer thing, perfect animal, really long neck, and then they slip into the design bureau, just some chick in a jumpsuit. She's all like, "You idiots, this won't work." 'Cause the old man submitted the Pegasus, the flying horse draft, and she was like, "You moron, this won't work. An animal that big can't fly." Because the way birds can fly is, you know, the other dude, who mastered the bird, you got to make them lighter, hollow bones and whatnot.
Right.
And to make a horse fly, you need to make it super buff, and reduce weight. You reduce its weight.
Oh, so it
Constantly.
talks about like sizes of scale. You're right.
So
Like,
yeah, so you got a super buff horse that poops all over, and I was like, damn, that's cool. And
so
they brought up the deer with the long neck, and she's all like, "You morons, this won't work either. Uh, it'll its head is too high up from the body, so it's gonna have anemia due to lack of blood flow. You'll need a heart that's at least what, a ton or more in order to circulate that much blood through that length." And they're all like, "Oh, damn. So why don't we just just normalize it? We'll just cut it in the middle, long legs and long neck." And they're like, "Oh shit, that worked. Damn, that's done."
and
And
that's how the draft was made, right?
yeah, but apparently the guy with the weirdo tree, that's a real thing too. Ping pong tree is a real animal, and it looks freaky. You should
That's
Google
actually
it.
pretty cool it wasn't just simple animal trivia, but they added the science of scales, or how different biologies work at different scales of length, mass, whatever. That's pretty cool. It's a little bit more detailed trivia than I would have expected.
My favorite part was later in the episode where they're trying to design a. Well, apparently there's three parts of this episode. One was about the draft. Another one was a fight between the weirdo guy who made the ping pong sponge tree. He designed the ultimate animal, which is a snake. He went and saw the horses, was like, how can we make this better? Okay, let's take off the arms and the legs, remove the poop hole, and make it crawl on the ground. It is the perfect animal. And God was like, okay.
That's pretty funny.
And then they had a rivalry with the dude with the bird dude, because he was all like, hey snake dude, your snake's eating all my bird eggs. And the snake dude's like, well, do something about it, idiot. So they experiment with like, well, if the snake likes to eat eggs, why don't you make the shell tougher? Well, that won't work, because the shell's too tough. Then the little baby chick can't get out. So that's a fail.
Right.
And then they're like, well, why don't you make it so that the thing hatches faster when the snake approaches? I mean, that kind of worked. That's a real life thing.
Mhm.
They're like, hey, we'll experiment with this. It kind of worked. That's how tadpoles work, by the way. They can hatch faster if they sense danger.
Right.
Fascinating.
That's pretty cool.
And then they're like, why can your snake climb trees and eat the eggs out of a nest? And they're like, do something about it. I'm like, well, why don't we just change the nest shape so that snakes can't get into it? And so there. That's another animal.
Right.
It does sound a lot more like cells at work style stuff, yeah.
Right. Again, I thought it would be a little bit more focused on the characters, but I mean, I think it strikes again a good balance, because if it just was the trivia and the characters are just there to just say, oh, this should be happening, this should be happening, if that. But the characters do seem to have their own quirks on the side, and then they kind of infuse that into the trivia and when they're interacting, doing actual dialogue with you. So that's
My is, how do you go from, hey, this living sausage is pretty tasty. This is coming from the guy who just wants to make the tasty animal. So he's got to. Have you watched Subaru play Sausage Legend?
yes.
So this guy's just got like a sausage flopping around on the ground. It's like, and they're like, okay, why does this exist? You have to make it so so it has some sort of defense. You can't just make a tasty animal and throw it into the world because you know it'll go extinct pretty fast. So the dude is like, all right, let's make it crawl along. Since it can't move, let's make it crawl on the ground. It's kind of like a worm, So we're moving from a sausage to a worm, and people are like, ew, that's kind of gross. And we're like, okay, what else? Let's make it armored. Let's give it some sort of defense. So there you go. Now it's got scales, and then and somehow you go from a sausage all the way to an armadillo. I don't know how that works, but there you go. So that's another real life animal for you, the armadillo, born from a sausage. So yeah, this show, pretty good. I like it.
All right. So yeah,
It's-
definitely.
The graphics lied to me. This wasn't Nanatsu no Taizai / artist guide, some other dude, but
Right.
that doesn't matter. The show's good.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Again, I think veered a little bit off from what I expected, but as you said, it still seems like a very solid series. So
I want
for
to
those of
see
you
where all these weird ass animals come from because if you look outside, there's some weird ass animals out there.
So if you guys are interested in this sort of stuff, again, as Toast mentioned, it's not just saying simple trivia about animals. Apparently, the author really did put some thought into it and talks about the biologies or the science of scale. It's a pretty interesting series. Do check it out. That is, again, ten. Excuse me, it's Tenchi Souzou design, right? His design team. So yeah, so please check that out. And moving on, Dark, you have for us.
I have. Oh my god, this happened to all of them. Is this when I did the title?
Nice.
Nice.
Anyway, I have a show called Dr. Ramune.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the basic premise is that he is a sort of like the doctor is the guy with blonde hair, and he's a sort of like occultic-ish type doctor, like spirit-ish type thing. Deals with strange diseases. I think it's like the subtitle's like mysterious disease specialist.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and so it seems to be like pretty episodic. What do you call it? Like pretty episodic, like diseases, like strange diseases. So, like episode 1 was
It's like a Bakemonogatari type strange.
yeah. So it's like the first character, like the first disease they deal with is a called like a child actor who, for some reason, is only able to like, what is it? I think they say it's like she can cry when she needs it for work, but not like normally. And normally she cries condiments.
Right.
So the strange part, weird thing about the show, it kind of like doesn't really get into like much about like what is causing it, in the sense of there's no like at least for this episode there was no like strange like spirit thing that caused it. or something. It was more of like her life situation and like essentially negative energy. So he like prescribes to like tools, essentially like a tea, but one of them is like a teapot that forces you to tell the truth and like speak your mind. And then the other one is just like these contact lenses that'll hold it back in an emergency, but also like fucks you up. So basically, it just turned into like a life lesson episode thing where like her mom was abusive and like, or not really abusive, like blinded by greed essentially by using like her daughter as a child actor as a source of income.
So
Yeah,
is
so
this,
just-
is this one of those stories, or sorry, not stories, but one of these series where it's a little bit more focused on the background story, right? Each episode or each mini arc is just the doctor going through the backstory, and again, something like a documentary or something, one of those sorts of journey series, right? Something
there's like it seems to be like a weird, like a mix of, you know, like what is creating these issues more than like the issues themselves, I would imagine. And then like the sort of cures, I assume, are going to be more trivia like stuff, like charms and everything. The one thing is, it's like kind of up in the air because since this was just episode 1, it was just like the condiment like tiers thing. Episode 2 is the dude whose dick turns into one of those like what are those called? Where they're like the tube, the like tube snacks. The Japanese
Umaibo?
like snack. Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's that.
Umaibo sticks, right?
Yeah, so
Sticks, right?
yeah, so I don't really know what life lesson they're gonna tie into a fucking guy's dick turning into
You, you've
Into
done this.
Umaibo? What flavor?
fish.
Sausage.
Gross.
But yeah, so not really sure what's gonna happen with that. But episode 1 was quite alright. It's very weird. This feels like an old show. Visually and like audio. Like well, and by old I mean like maybe like early mid 2000s. Not something from this decade essentially.
Right.
This is being done by Studio, was it Platinum Studio? Is that what they are? Platinum Vision, who, as far as I can tell, are known for the Servamp series. And that one like Koto Club series that you watched.
Oto Tomare, or
They don't do a ton, but those seem to be like yeah. So not particularly sure like where the series is gonna go. So it's like oh yeah, I probably should have mentioned it's like the two, they don't really explain a bunch yet either. I don't know if they're gonna get into backstories, but it's just kind of like the main character just works for this guy. Kuro, like just kind of works for him for some reason.
I think the beginning premise is, again, for these series, it's like the actual sort of backbone, like overarching, why is he doing this kind of stuff, is much less important than how the episode.
Yeah. But I feel like it's gonna be one of those situations where like, you know, eventually like every few episodes we might see more and more of like, I guess like exposition about Ramune and Kuro, something like that. Right now it kind of seems to be sort of like the, you know, straight man and sort of like goofball, with Dr. Ramune being the goofball. There's some alright gags.
Where's the mayo? I heard there was a guy that like turns into mayo or something.
No, the
that guy?
girl in the first episode, she cries mayo. And she
Gross.
tries different, she tries different condiments based on how she's feeling.
So like if she's
And it, and the fucked up part, like when we first saw it, I was like, oh okay, like that's like kind of, that's still like that's kind of weird.
The story got you.
No, what got me about the situation is like she fucking cries soy sauce, and it's like it hurts. I'm like,
Good.
oh.
fuck.
I'm like, damn, like that makes this way worse. Like, I thought it was gonna
So
be like,
what-
yeah,
what-
like she's crying condiments, but it's like like it doesn't fucking do anything particularly. But yeah, it just turned into
So what-
like
So what's ketchup? What emotion is ketchup? What about mustard?
I don't know.
What about relish?
She kind of. Oh yeah, at one point. Oh yeah, that's. Thank God they didn't show that. That would have been really fucked up. But at one point they do say she cried like some kind of like fucking spicy noodle sauce too. I'm like,
Oh, really? So it's pretty much all like whenever she cries something super spicy or super salty, then she's just like screwed, right? Is that how it works?
seems to
What
be.
emotion is ranch dressing?
Please.
But yeah. Overall, it's all right. It's not anything crazy yet. It might get better with their antics over time. But I suppose we'll see. It can't really.
So, do you think it's gonna turn into a little bit like there's gonna be returning sort of cast, or do you think it's gonna stay pretty episodic as it?
It depends. I know there's like more cast members that are getting introduced. I feel like it will be that situation where like, the sort of like salvaged relationship mother and actor daughter will like pop in as like a reference character later on or something. Maybe they'll either be like on TV or they'll be like, I don't know if there'll be much direct interaction like frequently with them, but hard to say for now. Especially like with episode 2 being what it is, it's like that's very very different from episode 1. So I guess we'll see. Unless there's a lesson for this man to learn.
Hope that mustard
Involving-
girl is a reoccurring character.
But yeah,
Okay. So I guess check this out. Definitely, if you like a little bit more episodic, kind of learn the background of why these characters. I mean, it's essentially one of those sorts of journey series, right? Something like a again more recently Majin no Takatabi or something probably in Ashoka, where each episode or set of episodes of the mini arc you see what's going on, right?
I'm trying to think of the perfect example, and I don't know why I can't remember the name of the show because I really like the show, but it's escaping me.
Railgun?
No.
Isn't there a series that came out? I want to say 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago, it's had like 2 or
Where-
3 seasons by now, and
Where-
Mononoke.
Oh.
Morose Mononoke. This is pretty much that series, but not as good.
Right.
It's very similar antics. Well, not really antics. I guess it's more turned up slapstick wise.
Wasn't there also a series? It didn't like get multiple stuff, but there was a series where there were 2 characters, right? A male and a female character that had a little like trinket old goods shop, and then people brought in little like items, right? The Japanese like items and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that,
I forget.
you remember, right?
Yeah, I remember that show. I don't remember the name of the show. What I remember about the show is that they had a very unfitting Miyavi song for its opening.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's kind of similar to that in a way. It's definitely more similar to Morose Mononoke, just because it's like, dealing with essentially mystery ailments caused by something, and then having the
Right.
different trinkets and stuff. This is just, at least for now, not involving like directly specific spirits and shit. There are
Okay.
spirits showing up at some point. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like characters that maybe they use them as a healing thing. Like in this picture that we're using, you can see he's holding like a. I assume it is a known like Japanese like trinket thing, or something or tool, because it's like it's a door with an eye on it, like a paper door. But then there's
Are
like
you thinking
another
of
one with that cut open in it, and he can use that to see like wherever the other one is.
Mhm.
I imagine that's some sort of like occult trinket, but I don't know for sure.
So again, if you guys like sort of those episodic, find out the backstory behind what this problem is, and then whether it's sad or funny or whatever. There's been a couple of these things. Obviously, something like as you said, Muros McCann. I believe something like Natsumi Yujinto. I forget. And then there's like what is it?
Mushishi.
Yes, exactly. That's God. Thank you. I was thinking of it, and I was just like,
Yeah, that's the
trying
big
to think
one.
of- yeah, exactly. I'm retarded, and near as it, so that helps. So Mushishi, again, a lot of the Journey sort of series. Um, those I think help, or those are sort of this is sort of one of those spiritual successors of these. So if you kind of like those, I guess check it out. All right, thank you, Dark. And this was, I believe, what was the name again?
The name was Dr. Ramune.
Right, Dr.
Don't
Ramune.
remember exactly what it is.
Ramune like the soda? Man, I don't like Ramune. That glass ball's always in the way. Why
I think
is
that's
that glass ball there anyway? I know it is it. I know it's for
glass-
carbonation or
The
whatever.
glass
a
ball
fucking
is literally
toy.
like the entire like appeal of
Yeah, it's a
Ramune.
toy, right?
Yeah,
I was
it's
thinking to buy
it's
it,
literally for
Yeah.
children to fucking like play with, essentially.
yeah.
Like
How can you drink it? It's so bad to drink though. It's like I just want to drink it.
what do you mean it's so bad to drink? Bad to drink what?
It's like it gets in the way when you're trying to drink, and it's like I know you have to hold this in, but like I don't want to.
Then just buy cola.
Oh, I want Ramune flavored cola. You know,
I'm pretty sure they sell that.
Yeah, they actually. I'm pretty sure they actually.
you know what I
They
do?
do sell that, just like in.
I have to remove the plastic the plastic lip thing, and then remove the ball that way, and then drink it normally. It's such a hassle.
Anyways, thank you, Dark, for covering Dr. Ramune. I believe it's called Mysterious Disease Specialist or something like that.
Yes.
And with that, we are moving on to Nier.
Ha 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 ha.
Fuck. That
Um.
happened again.
Nice.
So I watched. The fuck is this show called again?
Osekai?
Urasekai
Otherside
Picnic.
Picnic.
Urasekai Picnic, other
Yeah.
known as Otherside Picnic.
So by the way, this is so usually it's isekai, and isekai means sort of
Hey, that's
like
fine.
a different world essentially. So ura is sort of under other side. So
It's the reverse world, Spire.
yeah,
You
I
would
mean,
know if you watch Fate Apocrypha.
it can be read as reverse other, sort of under whatever. The point is, it's supposed to be the other sort of facet. So if you have one world on one side, it's sort of the other world on the opposite. Sort of how the difference between an urasekai and an isekai. So that's sort of how. Anyways,
Yeah.
Nier is
I
about-
get it.
So this is a Leiden Films and Felix Films production, collaboration. Yes.
Visuals look pretty good.
Yeah, not quite, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is a series. I'm really not too sure what it's about because the show like doesn't really tell you what's going on at all.
Isn't just lesbians running through the world?
I mean, probably, but so it starts off with the main character, uh, or one of the main characters, Sorao, which is the glasses girl, basically laying down in a puddle, being like, "Oh, damn, I'm a loser and I have no friends, and if I die, then nobody will care." And
Just
then
like me.
suddenly the other main character, the blonde girl, Toriko, comes along and she's like calling out for someone. And then they meet, and then this weird like ghost attacks them. And then Toriko throws a piece of rock salt at the ghost, and then it explodes. Um, and when it explodes, it drops this weird cube. Uh, and it's like a mirror. It doesn't reflect people.
It reflects your heart.
And then
Everyone is a vampire. Holy shit.
yeah, and then they run into this like room. It shakes a bit. They look out the peephole, and there's it's just blue. And then they open the door, and then they're in the real world, and they start talking about the other side. They don't give any specific details. They're kind of just like, yeah, I read about it on the internet.
Wow, it's an internet creepypasta.
Basically, and yeah, basically the show doesn't tell you anything that's happening. It kind of just like has events um that are like shown to the viewer, but there's no like exposition at all. And it doesn't really seem like the characters have like thought. They're very robotic. They kind of just
I mean,
go along. Um,
what's sort of the driving motivation behind it?
uh Nothing really.
So
um,
they're just trying to survive in the Urasekai. I mean, they're not trapped in
no,
the Urasekai though.
no,
They're in
they're
the real
not.
world.
No, they're in the real world. So basically, I guess the initial motivation is like these characters. It never explains how these characters initially get into the other side. Um, but like at the beginning of the series, they just are. Um, and then they get into the real world. You know, there's like a 1 week time skip, and then the blonde girl's like, "Let's go back in because like I sold the mirror cube, and the person I sold it to wants more of them." Uh, and then Sora was like, "Gee, I don't know. That sounds kind of dangerous. We kind of got attacked by a fucking space ghost." Uh, and then they're just like, "Yeah, but the money though." And then they go back in. Um, and then when they go back in, uh, the blonde girl gives the glasses girl a gun, and she's just like, "Yeah, you can just like find them around in the other side sometimes." And the characters are just like, "Oh, okay." And
Oh,
then
okay.
they find another ghost, right? And they all find this like they find a corpse, right? And he's got like weird fungus growing out of his eyeballs, and he's dead. Um, and then another ghost attacks them, and then they figure out like how to defeat it. And apparently, the way to defeat it is the girl with the glasses looks at the ghost, and then the blonde girl shoots the ghost because apparently the ghost is only real if you look at it or something. And then the girl with the glasses gets a fucking Sans eye from Undertale, like unironically,
Nice.
like she gets a blue flaming eye.
So,
Um,
so you're saying she's gonna have a bad time?
yeah, yeah. This show's really not very good. Um, like like I said, the characters are very robotic. The way they interact with each other, like it's very like stilted. It doesn't feel uh, like it feels like I don't know. It's kind of just it feels like a storyboard. Um, it doesn't feel like a finished, like fleshed out scene when stuff is happening. It's kind of just like
There's no script direction. There's just things happening. Is
yeah.
even the world doesn't seem that fleshed out, right? It's just
No,
things
there's literally zero world building at all.
happen.
The other side isn't explained other than the fact that like it's like an internet rumor. Um,
Oh, okay.
Somehow, for
Right.
some reason, the blonde girl knows exactly how to get into the other side, even though like when they first meet, she's like, um, "Gee, I don't know, I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on." Um, but then like when they go back in, he's apparently like an expert or something. Uh, but like it feels really, I don't know. It really just feels like events happening. It's most noticeable when there's like, I guess, quote unquote, action going on, because like
Yeah.
there's no real sense of like, choreography, or like keeping uh like where the characters are like consistent. Like it's just, it feels really rushed. Uh
It feels like it's just some amateur artist kind of showing off stuff, or like what's happening here?
I mean, basically, yeah, it does feel almost like a
It's Leiden Films though, right? I mean, Leiden Films
yeah,
are like
it
that.
is Leiden Films. I mean, it's definitely not a bad studio.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
they're not noobs. Like they were founded like fucking years ago. It's not.
yeah, and the director is like, I mean, he's been in the industry for quite some time. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe the source material is like really fucked up for this series,
It's
but
original? Is this an original? No, it's not. It's a
no,
science
it's a novel
fiction novel.
original.
It's a
Um,
novel. They didn't say it. It doesn't say it's a light novel. It's like an actual novel. It's very weird.
apparently, yeah.
So it's something like Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, right?
I I would assume, uh, yeah, it's really bizarre. Like, there's no sense of like flow between scenes. Stuff's kind of just happening.
It's
Um,
weird.
Apparently it's a novel based off another novel. Some
I mean, regardless
like
of what novel
Russian
it's
thing called Roadside Picnic. You
uh-huh.
know, same thing that made this Near You Like Stalker. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like that. Apparently,
Yeah. It definitely
you
does
get
not
that
have
kind of
that
feel.
atmosphere.
Uh,
No, no.
so throwing the salt is not like throwing the screws in order to scare away
No.
the anomalies or something like that. What
No,
is it?
like it initially sets up like the rock salt thing, and then it immediately throws it away, because the second ghost they try to hunt, like they throw rock salt at it, and then it's like it doesn't do anything.
Maybe they should
Um,
have done more research on 2chan.
and then it's like later on, or like within that scene, like Glasses Girl like stares at the ghost, which I guess like cements it into like the other side's like law of like reality or whatever, and then
Uh-huh.
that enables like the blonde girl to shoot the ghost, and then like this series audiovisual is also
So it's like
quite bad as
Schrodinger.
well.
It
Or
doesn't.
like,
So yeah, okay.
No,
yeah,
that's not Schrodinger. That's
they
like the law
no,
of observation or whatever, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Isn't that what
law.
that's
basically,
called? Where it's like
It
you
doesn't exist
simply
until you see it.
observing
yeah,
something
yeah. I
changes
mean,
it.
they basically straight up say like, because I'm not seeing it, like the world perceives it as like not there, essentially.
Sounds great.
So from what I'm reading of the Roadside Picnic, which is the original sort of Russian science fiction novel that this was this was based upon, right? And this was written in the 70s, 80s, sort of in that time period where it was a little bit more of the popular era, one of the golden eras, I believe. I forget if it was the golden or
Yeah,
silver era of science fiction. I'm pretty bad with timelines, forgive me. But it was during that sort of popular era of science, hard science, not like soft science, legit putting in the work to actually work with the scientific terminology. But so from what I can see, this was one of the sort of themes is that central themes is that it's a sort of cosmic Lovecraftian horror inspiration where these monsters are kind of just doing whatever and they're just kind of ignoring whatever however the humans interact with them and just screwing with them. And the reason why that happens is they're acting in the same way as humans might ignore, lower life, right? So all these sorts of space ghosts and aliens and monsters and stuff like that are just stomping humans or putting them in danger, but kind of stomping them underneath and ignoring them. And this is in the same way, in the same cosmic grand scale way that again humans might ignore lower life amoeba and whatever, right?
Yeah,
This sort of cosmic horror that's supposed to draw. But the issue is this thing again.
this
Roadside
series
Picnic is
doesn't do that.
First of all, this thing is an entire novel. So even if Underside Picnic were to kind of try to develop that, it would take an extremely much longer time to kind of develop that in a reasonable and sort of mellow manner, right? And secondly, uh, it obviously sort of didn't want to copy that exactly, right? So I think it tried to do something else with it, but then, as you said, it went nowhere, right? It went nowhere with the variation it was.
I
It sort of
mean,
went.
I'm sure it goes somewhere, but the problem is, I think the place that it's going isn't very good, right?
Mhm.
Like the obviously the idea of like cosmic horror, beings that are so beyond humanity that like we are like a fucking speck of dust to them, right? Like
Right.
that's a concept that's being done for a decent amount of time, and I
Right.
think it would
Cosmic horror.
I think it would be understandable for them to not want to do that exactly, but I feel like if you're basing your series off of a novel that is one of the central themes of its uh like of its science fiction, um you should probably do that.
Do you think it's just an episode one kind of thing? It's just that you don't get it yet. We need more time, kind
No,
of stuff,
no.
or
The ghost talks to the main character. Like
what?
What does it
yeah,
say? What
the
does it
ghost
say?
I mean just like abstract fucking like, you know,
Oh man,
fucking
excellent.
abstract shit like psychology, like weird,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
allusions to events that have happened in the past, yada yada yada. Um, but like it's very obvious that the ghosts take interest in the people. Because when somebody looks at one of the ghosts, like it immediately snaps to the person looking at them and apparently drives them insane and
Mhm,
makes the like weird like fungus grow out of their eyeballs.
mhm.
You
Nice.
know, I mean, that's kind of another Lovecraftian thing, right? Where like you look upon something and you just fucking
And you
go
go insane,
insane.
right?
Um, but
Pretty heavily borrowed.
for whatever reason, our main character has a flaming eyeball because of it. Uh, you know, but
Nice.
Nice.
yeah, I
As
Her
mean,
I bet her.
glasses.
Yeah. Her glasses block the sand
yeah,
rays.
yeah.
No one thought.
Glasses kept her sanity levels up. But yeah, it's really not a good first episode to be sure. I really
Do you think people with worse eyesight will get less affected because they can't see shit?
no,
Is that the truth of the world? If you
no.
can't see if you can't see it, you can't be affected by it, right?
Um,
That's how sanity works in Lovecraft.
no,
It's just
no.
like Bird
Because
Box.
they like look at the ghost and it fucking freaks out at them, and then they're like, "Oh shit, look away," and then it's like it's still fucking with their head. Uh, so
What about blind people?
um,
Yeah, like in Bird Box.
yeah, blind people aren't real, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, definitely not a good first episode. I really don't see this series like out uh
Hey,
past
what
like
do you
what
think the next episodes will be like? Hey, so this is how it happened, or like
I think the next episodes are gonna be that
a flashback?
like our main characters get fucking superpowers for some stupid reason. Because in the OP, obviously, the girl with the glasses has like the flaming sans eye, and then the blonde girl has like a weird like see-through ghost hand. So
Nice,
obviously they're gonna have some
This
sort of
is
superpowers.
turning into like fan
nice.
fiction more than science fiction.
Yeah,
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
she gets a
lie.
ghost hand and she can't fucking hold
yeah.
a
Oh,
gun
oh,
anymore.
oh! I can see the ghost hand now. Nice.
Um,
It's like the is it like Kasen's hermit hand?
no, probably not.
Oh, that
But
sucks.
yeah, I feel like this series is gonna like our main characters have some sort of superpowers. They're gonna discover some sort of secret of the other side. It's probably gonna jeopardize like safety of the real world. They're gonna become lesbians, and then they're gonna shoot.
Wait, they
ghosts in
aren't
the face.
lesbians already?
No,
This is a
they like
ripoff.
no, they like don't even know each other. To start off with, so you
But
know.
what about Cube guy who's gathering the cubes? When does he become the final
I
boss?
mean, I don't know. He's probably gonna be like some CEO of like a shadow company, and then they're gonna like harvest the cubes to
SCP.
create like a fucking weaponized space ghost or something. I don't know, man. The series is probably gonna suck ass.
It's gonna end with a giant one in the middle of Tokyo.
Yeah.
And it's gonna and get this. It's gonna be on the other side.
Oh shit.
The real truth of the
Why is it
world
called
behind
Picnic,
the
though?
first class. I don't know.
Probably just because it's based on the book, right?
Yeah,
But
roadside
Yeah.
picnic or Urasekai picnic. I get it.
yeah.
They're kind of just going out and coming back, kind of like a picnic, I guess. Is that kind of how it works?
I don't know.
Picnics
How long do
have the
picnics
roots in
last?
Japan, I
I think
How long does a
there's a
picnic last for you, Spire? Jeez.
I think there's a
think.
potential for this series to do like some weird shit where it's like they get potentially trapped in the other side because in the first episode the blonde girl says like the entrance that the glasses girl came in through got destroyed or whatever. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing as well. But again, I don't expect too much from this series. I will say the audio visuals are shaky at best. Although I feel like that largely comes down to the fact that like this series feels like a storyboard. So like there's really no flow at all between like cuts. But there's also some really like really bad CG where they really don't need to use it at all. Like they're in pretty much like the opening scene, when the girl's like laying in the puddle, she like has this weird fucking trip where like she falls into the puddle and like starts drowning, like some weird like dream sequence. And then the blonde girl like pulls her out, and then the camera cuts back and like she's puts her down on the ground, and for some reason that's CG, and it looks like absolute shit. Um, but yeah, I don't think Leiden Films
Do
is
you
really
think?
putting that much effort into
Do
this series.
yeah. Do you also? Do you think like somehow? Like I don't know. You think this production is like that old that it could have been a hit by COVID at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. So any last words on Urasekai Picnic?
Not good.
A
That's
little bit
about it.
unfortunate. Anyways, that was again Urasekai Picnic, is heavily inspired by a Russian sci-fi novel in the 70s. Picnic.
Well, I'm interested in it, Near. I'll be the judge of
You should
this
probably just
reverse
watch like
rule.
Kokoku instead.
Yeah, that's probably much
Probably,
less
yeah.
confusing and a little bit more directed.
I want to see what she does with her sand eye.
That's true. I am gonna watch
I
this
mean,
just to see that. To be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what the powers are going to be, but I really do think it's just going to be like some shit where the girl activates her eye and then it like grounds the ghost like in reality and maybe like paralyzes or something. And then the blonde girl like punches the ghost with her ghost hand, explodes, and it drops a funny cube.
Doesn't Shiki have a ghost hand?
No.
What? But she has a ghost hand. She uses to catch ghosts.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Anyways, we need to wrap this up. Thank you, Nier, for helping cover Urasekai Picnic. I was kind of looking forward to it because of the weird sort of setup, but unfortunately, kind of fell down by the roadside. No pun intended.
Yeah.
So I'll be continuing. Going on to Skate Leading Stars.
Was this the yaoi of this season?
There's a lot.
There's
Oh.
multiple, and don't worry, Spire's gonna cover them all.
Shut the fuck up. So this is the JC Staff series. I forget if I think this is the only JC Staff series, and it's interesting because there's a bunch of big names for it. For instance, the chief director guy, Taniguchi Goro, is both working on Back Arrow this season, and he's working on this, and he's obviously known for working on Code Geass stuff, Lucian Direction, movies, stuff like that. Also, he did Planets, he did Promare, I think. Oh no, that's the writer. One of the writers behind Promare, Nakashima Kazuki, is also working on this. So Taniguchi Goro already a decent big name, and also I believe one of the people that helped create the series, and or not create the series, but helped heavily sort of affect the script, writing the script currently for it. It is a manga original though, but also one of the people handling the script is Kimura Noboru, who did a lot of sort of script composition, series composition, and sort of general script writing for this, for like Amagami, for Nyaruko, Kokoku. Currently, he's also going to work on Kimono Jihen. He's a good storyboarder / writer or script writer, but trust him. But this story is so the basic premise is that all these boys, these hot, handsome ikemen, right, with all these different colored hair.
Why do you gotta call them hot, Spire?
Because that's the appeal.
Because that's what
Apparently,
he thinks about them.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
they're all extremely hot.
don't push your tastes onto me.
I should say, I apologize. They are lukewarm. Yes. So so they're all doing the figure skating thing as you do.
Wait, this is what figure skating? I thought it was roller skating. Oh God.
Oh,
No.
It's figure
This is
skating.
gonna be another Euro camp on ice.
You're camp on ice.
What?
That's pretty good. And so, unlike Euro camp on ice, so this is a little bit. So this goes to it sets up on a whole bunch of the characters back when they were all young elementary school kids and they were all competing with each other, and figure skaters do their routines and performances and get points and stuff like that, and that's sort of how they compete, right? So the main guy called Maeshima Kensei, voiced by. Oh, by the way, this is also I believe, yeah. This series also has quite a decent sort of, I believe, seiyuu cast or voice actor cast. It has Uchida Yuma. It has Kamiya Hiroshi. Go through Hanae Natsuki, Kino Satoshi, Saito Soma, a lot of other voice actors that often appear in these sort of heavily male-laden series. So that's how it goes. Pretty big cast all around. So the main character, Maeshima Kensei, always keeps getting second place to this sort of very talented but very icy, right? The whole I don't show emotions on my face, but I'm always getting first place, blah blah. You know the type. Character called Shinozaki Reo, and the main character keeps losing to this sort of cool-headed, super talented guy in these competitions. And the cool-headed guy, Shinozaki Reo, is like, "Oh, you'll never beat me. Go away." And then the main character kind of gives up. Is in a slump, just like, "Oh, why even bother? I work hard." So time skip. He's lazy. He sees he's not really kind of trying. He sees the guy winning all these competitions, and suddenly everybody, instead of doing singles figure skating and individual figure skating competition, they're all transitioning into this thing called skate leading. And skate leading is apparently this thing where a team of skaters all perform a routine or something like that, but then they have like different roles or something. It's like it's like 5 people on a team. It's like a MOBA or some shit. It's like a MOBA but with figure skating ? And they all have these different roles, and they're supposed to assist each other in the routines, and weird stuff happen.
I've never heard of figure skating in 5 people. Isn't that dangerous?
It's probably dangerous.
I've seen 2.
It's but apparently.
What if someone messes the dismount and like slices another person's neck open? When
Just
they
like
do the spin.
quadruple axle into just right into somebody else, but
Yeah, it's not like a ice hockey where they keep their feet on the ground. They're
fine.
yeah, they're flying through the air. Someone's gonna get hurt.
That has happened in hockey.
This is anime, so anything is possible. But yeah, 5 people are in team in figure skating apparently in this world. So everybody's kind of moving into it. The cool-headed Ice Prince, the first place winner for everything, is also getting into skate leading. And the main character becomes jealous, and he's getting into boba. And the Ice Prince, the talented guy's half brother, called Sasuke Hayato, calls upon the main character, and he's just like, "Aren't you jealous? Don't you want to get revenge on this guy for, just flipping you off essentially, and just saying, go away, you're not worth my time. Don't you want to get revenge on him?" And they kind of bicker, and then eventually,
these characters are kind of fucked up.
Yeah, the half brother is really honestly one of the core characters already in the story, and he's just like, "Don't you want to fuck this guy up? Don't you want to get revenge?" And
hey, this guy because he's like so much cooler than you and better than you in every single way, and like you're a fucking loser.
Exactly, it's pretty funny.
And you're gonna cry about it, and you're a dumb baby bitch.
Yeah, are you pussy? Are you gonna do something about it, bitch? It's like, all right then. So the main character kind of gets back on his feet, and
man, that sounds like a Disney special villain or bully.
Yeah, or an anti-hero almost. Yeah, it's but he's in an anti-hero format. Yeah, so the main protagonist kind of gets back up and starts wanting to train against him to beat him in skate leading, I guess. And then he goes to his school's team, but then he has to work out his problems with the skate leading team because he's always said stuff like, "Oh, whatever, the skate leading team is like a bunch of noobs. They don't really compare. I'm too lazy to do my own stuff." So they all hate him, and so he has to work out these problems with the guys. Essentially, that's how. So he has bad relations with his own school skate leading team, and he's rusty, but he has to beat the #1 skater in the world who is now switching over to team skating or skating. So that's sort of how it goes, and then their relationships will evolve or do whatever, I guess. But overall, it definitely seems a lot less. Honestly, this thing is actually much more interesting to me than Yuri on Ice was, because Yuri on Ice is a little bit so. How do I explain this? I mean, first of all, the audio visuals are kind of it's pretty standard. Fujoshi stuff. Not many. It's not Kyoani stuff, right? It's not gonna have all the gloss and frames and stuff for the girls, and they have the hair and whatever. It's JC staff. But Hasten Chat says, "My coworker who loves Haikyuu thought Yuri on Ice was trash. Yuri on Ice is not good." But so let me explain the difference. So it's like with Yuri on Ice and Free, again, the parts of it that I didn't like were twofold mainly. First one was they emphasized too much the standard talent versus hard work and determination. Wow, this guy, this cool-headed guy who's always icy and whatever is so talented, he just gets on by. But the protagonist, he's a hard worker. It's the whole Sasuke versus Naruto thing. It's not right. It's like you've seen that once, you've seen it now. Not. She didn't like Free either. Yeah, see, that's the thing. And the second thing I don't like is that Yuri on Ice, and to a lesser extent Free, was a little bit too on the nose. It focused less on the aspect of training for sports and kind of going through it, and all the hard work and suffering and whatever that comes through with it, and more on, oh, you gotta to skate, you gotta love yourself, you gotta express your amour, your passions, blah blah. And 3 had that phrase where it's like, I'm in love with the water, or whatever it was, right? Do you remember that?
I am fucking married to the water.
Yeah, exactly. It was the first episode or something. And the characters literally explicitly said straight out, it's like, I'm in love with the water, or whatever. I was just sitting there, just going, what does that mean? I don't know how this ties into the story in any way.
I mean, have you swam in water? Water's pretty great.
Yeah, H2O is pretty good. Yeah, I agree. But those
would you rather swim in water or mud?
I'm not sure if that's the question.
These are the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, definitely water. But yeah, so those were the 2 sort of relevant points that I didn't like about Free and Yuri on Ice. One was that, again, it focused too much on the standard stuff, and second, it was a little bit too much on the nose about just passion, and you gotta show your love for figure skating, blah blah blah, instead of going through realism, right? Applying realism, the realness of working hard or grinding through a sport, or the things that people go through when they're training for figure skating, or when they're training for swimming competition or whatever. So that's sort of what I thought about it. It's not that a lot of people were sort of in heated discussion about, as it usually goes, right? There's always that side where people are like, oh, freaking BL showing up, whatever, or yaoi showing up, whatever. And I have my own complaints about yaoi, but for the most part in these sports series, I'm just like, whatever. But it's less the yaoi or the BL is whatever. But the bigger point is that these boring points that I mentioned about Yuri on Ice and Free did not come up really in Skate Leading Stars. A lot of it was pretty much just, oh, you want to fuck this guy up? All right, let's grind. Let's go. And that was an interesting way to motivate the character, I felt, more than it's talented, but I'm really determined. I'm going to be even more determined next time. And that's just, that's a boring kind of story route to go off of, or a story beginning. So I really like the fact that they included in this guy. Don't you want to fuck that guy up? And the main character's like, I guess, sure, let's go. Screw it, let's go. And again, that was a little bit more interesting to me. Although probably a lot of the results might be the same, but I honestly want to watch this way more than I do something like Yuri on Ice. So that's saying something. I'm not entirely sure how gay on the gayometer it will be. Do you get the great gratuitous male butts and tight scene? No, actually you don't. It's a lot of it's just twirling around, and they don't actually do a lot of close. I mean, they do close-ups of like the animations, like them twirling or whatever, but it's not actually close-ups of. It's not like Yuri on Ice or Free when they're actually showing close-ups of. For instance, in Free, there are a lot of ab shots.
Red abs.
Yeah, exactly. There's even that one thing where who was the sister of that red hair guy, Ro or something like that.
Man, I don't remember a single fucking character's name in that show.
Yeah, but you know how there's the red-haired sister, right? Of that red-haired guy.
Yeah.
And there was that one scene where she saw the abs of one of the swimmers, and she's like, "Oh my god, abs!" or whatever. Right? There are those actual scenes in Yuri on Ice and in Free. There's none of that in Skate Leading Stars.
she was the best character. Whatever happened to her?
She was there until the end, but she was always sort of fan service more than anything.
Yeah, I mean,
she always came in and she was like, "Oh man," or "The guys have abs," or she blushed at whatever.
Yeah, she is the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Or for the, I guess, the few guys who managed to get through Free.
Yeah, the few guys who are fucking coping.
Yeah, coping. She's like, they're all sitting there like,
the one female on screen.
Does she have any more C's? And then she comes over and she blushes for one of the guys or whatever. And so she goes away. But yeah, there's really none of those gratuitous scenes. There's again animations of close-ups of them doing quadruple act spin or whatever, or these animations. There's no actual gratuitous close-ups of the abs or the butt or whatever, which is actually pretty interesting. Now that I consider it, because it
Yeah.
didn't include those.
It's called being scammed, dude.
Yeah, you thought this is gonna be about the hotheads of men? No, but yeah, that's honestly again, this series is way more interesting to me and actually somewhat motivating to watch than something like Yuri on Ice or Free, because again, it doesn't have those very stereotypical premises, and a lot of it again seems to be, at least off episode 1, it seems to be a little bit more focused on grind, kind of getting through things. It's like that running anime I saw a while back, but that's sort of what it reminds me. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. The audio visuals aren't really.
So is there going to be a tournament arc?
I mean, there's going to be a series of competition arc, but I feel like it's going to be one major tournament arc, or not tournament, but competition arc near the end. Obviously, there might be like some side stuff, maybe in episode 4, not in episode 4, but I want to say episode 5 or episode 7 or whatever. But then they're going to take a break until maybe episode 10, 11, 12. It's probably how it's going to work out, but I'm not sure. I feel like this is 12 episodes, right? I believe this is 12 episodes, but if it's 12 episodes,
So it's not going to be 2 seasons of this? Wow, that sucks for this show.
I would not know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Maybe the boys aren't handsome enough.
Yeah, the boys. JC staff needs to up its game. He needs to add the Kyoani gloss to it and just make and add more ab shots or more butt shots.
They have to improve on the water, not the water, the ice physics.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, even Yuri on Ice even had that one scene, right, where all the boys got into like a hot spring together. They need to add those scenes, man. But yeah, I don't really have anything more to really say about this. Obviously, again, they have all the standard weird sort of archetypes. They have the girlish boys that are like, "Hey, man, come over here," and they're always kind of like touchy-feely with the other boys or whatever. They have like the cold glasses student council president kind of dude. They have all the other guys, blah 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 blah. And it's not. I mean, it's your standard cast.
So Spire, who do you think is going to die at the end of this series in a skating accident?
I'm not sure if anybody...
or at least be hospitalized during the great tournament.
I think there might be one. I think it might be honestly the main character. In this thing, I think the main characters, because it's a good thing that you mentioned that, because I think in this cast, the main 3 characters get a lot of weight, a lot more screen time compared to sort of the rest of the cast. So I think if anything happens, it'll be one of those. You
gotta have the revenge arc where like one of his friends gets beat up by the rival team. Then he gets like a revenge power up in order to beat them.
Yeah, exactly. or the first place guy, or the Ice Prince, his rival, gets into an accident, and then he has to decide: do I just pack it up, or
are you a soul skater, or do you do this for fun? Was it?
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Yeah, exactly. You gotta just pack up. You just gotta give up on your revenge, man. Blah 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 blah. Right. But yeah, overall, I think this is definitely a much more interesting series to watch than something like Yuri on Ice or Free. And I recommend you guys watch it if you're into this kind of stuff. As for whether I'm going to be watching it, I might actually watch some extra episodes. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. And if they're just gonna, I really hope it doesn't fall into the whole just talent versus determination kind of thing. I don't know. Again,
where do you fall into that?
Spire's out here like, I don't know, like, I guess I'll watch some more of them. There's no like ass shots and ab shots, so like,
are you?
I don't really.
Are you saying that that hard work cannot beat raw talent, Spire?
Sometimes hard work
no, it can't.
Sometimes it's quite difficult. But yeah,
maybe you should just try harder.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, if you're interested in handsome high school, I believe high school skate
Gaku and
leading figure
handsome? What?
high school skate leading figure skaters that all have different colored
Spire,
hair.
let me
owned
ask
by
you this.
What? Yeah.
In compare in a if you let's do a male versus female war. Is
What
it
the f-
better than Keijo?
Keijo? That's like
This
apples
is
and
very
oranges.
different beasts.
That's apples and oranges. Keijo is like
So you're saying Keijo's better? All right, I got you.
so if you're interested in checking this sort of stuff out, then I guess again, it's not gonna have any sort of hot spring scenes or gratuitous butt or ab shots like how Johnny did it.
Yeah, it's shit.
No close-ups of their face or ass. What the? Get this out of here. Anyways, that was my review for Escape Leading Stars. And with that, we are going to go on to news. Not much news these past 2 weeks. Again, obviously, because the past few weeks have been freaking COVID plus Christmas plus New Year, so there's not going to be that much going on, right? So, so we're just going to have news today, people news, and right on shoutouts and callouts. First piece of news is just some number stuff. Kimetsu no Yaiba. So the
Wins
demons
again.
I have some complaints about this, but I'll voice them later. The Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train anime, has sold 24 million tickets to earn around 314 million US dollars as of Sunday. Its 73rd day at the Japanese box office. The film has now surpassed Miyazaki Hayato's 2002 Spirited Away
Holy
all-time highest
shit.
earnings in Japanese box offices. I just want to
he's
say,
seething.
yeah, Mugen Train is the first
Anime
film.
was a mistake.
Yeah, anime was a mistake. Thank you, Toast. What is the first film since Miyazaki Hayato's 2002 Spirited Away film to earn more than 30 billion yen at the Japanese box office? Mugen Train is also the fastest to reach the milestone, since Spirited Away took 253 days to reach it. I do want to say something. I think, first of all, this is a little bit of different, obviously, because it's different eras, right? Difference between
Yeah.
Miyazaki Hayato's when it was Spirited Away, and nowadays when something like Kimetsu no Yaiba, when these days just going in and seeing anime movies, even in the West, is pretty common. So it's something like that. But secondly,
If it's so common, then how come you guys don't want to watch movies with me?
I think that's
Or because we don't live.
Spire, you do.
I mean, I apologize for not being able to get a airplane ticket and sit next to you to us whenever you want to watch an anime movie. But
What, a
the complaint I-
3-hour drive? You can make it.
Oh, maybe. But the thing I kind of wanted to complain about this, and I'm sure I'll sound a lot like how Miyazaki will in later interviews if he's ever asked about this kind of stuff, is this kind of reminds me of. So I was watching a YouTube video about Blackpink, and this is like a very popular K-pop group that going global and international fans everywhere, blah blah blah. And there was one comment below it that was just like, K-pop back then, it's like you had to make good songs to become popular, and then um,
Not really.
K-pop now, I mean, relatively, K-pop now, it's like you make songs popular because of your fan, by being popular already. And I think, in my opinion, I think this is sort of a similar case where I'm not saying Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba is a bad series, but clearly, like, the movie itself is not. To compare it to Spirited Away is a little bit,
Yeah, okay, Copa, buddy.
Yeah. So, I think these days a lot of the bigger series that'll be coming out and kind of taking records and kind of being the top names, a lot of them are series that are already sort of established, and then fans are just going to watch, even if it's good or bad or in the middle or whatever, compared to kind of how it was before. And I think it's a little weird. It's just kind of like Avengers Endgame also, right? Where it's like, regardless of how you thought about Avengers Endgame, everybody just kind of came and watched, right? Everybody that was familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was kind of like,
I mean, in that regard, you could just say like the fucking sequel trilogy. Well,
right, exactly. So that's sort of what everybody. But anyways, next on a similar topic, Japanese film news website Cinema Today revealed top highest earning domestic and foreign films for 2020 in Japan on Thursday. So in those top 10 in 2020, okay, 5 anime films amongst the top 10. So number 1, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer. Number 2, Kyou kara ore wa Gekijouban. Number 3, Confidence Man JP, Princess Hen. Number 4, 映画ドラえもんのび太の新恐竜. Number 5, 四国犬怖い間取り. Not one. Number 6, Ito. Number 7, Violet Evergarden, the movie. Number 8, Kaiji, Final Game. Number 9, Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 3, Spring Song. Number 10, My Hero Academia, the movie, Heroes Rising. So, yeah, there's a lot of anime stuff in 2020 that just kind of shot up there. A lot of anime fans kind of willing to spend the money. So, next piece of news. Toast.
Hello.
Can you read the title for this?
Gotobu no waitress de yokunai desu ka?
No. The news title.
Oh, gross. Jujutsu Kaisen interview with voice actor Robbie Damon.
No. I don't think that's okay. So Toast doesn't want to read it. So
I don't want to read it.
Yes. Seo Koji prepares new manga for spring debut. So for those of you who don't know,
Fuka sucks. It still sucks. Don't read it.
For those of you who don't know,
If you really want to like Fuka, maybe watch the anime because they changed something in there. Spoiler: Fuka's still alive in the anime. She's just hospitalized.
So for those of you who don't know, Seo Koji is famous, whatever, mostly infamous for making or writing, or drawing rather, Kimi no Irumachi, A Town Where You Live, as well as Fuka and Suzuka, and these are all infamously long-running series. They're rom-com series that are like will they, won't they. So they are infamously long-running and infamously kind of dragging on the points. Very sometimes a point of controversy for sure. But yeah, that same manga creator, Seo Koji, revealed on Twitter on Tuesday that he's currently working on his new manga serialization that is scheduled to debut this spring. He revealed a storyboard of the preview page and revealed that he had not decided on a title. He jokingly added that he suggested the title of Gotobu no Waitress de Yokunai desu, or our quintuplet waitress is not fine, but was ignored. Obviously trying to inspired by Gotobu no Hanayome. Or the quintessential.
What a cheater.
He's finishing up his Hitman manga and this, and apparently this one, the 5 waitresses thing, come out in spring of this year, 2021. So
Fire, who's worse, Seo Koji or Dal Young Lim? Dal Young Lim. What's the word? Whatever that guy's name is.
In Dal Young. That's a pretty,
yeah, that
guy. I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty nick. I'm not gonna lie, both of them are really bad.
I'll raise you this. At least Seo Koji finishes his series.
That is true. That is true. Anyways, so
still waiting for freaking the end of has Freezing ended? I don't know.
I don't think Freezing has ended.
But what about the Legend of Mayan? I was waiting for the Legend of Mayan or a Flamed Inferno or whatever it's called. A Flame Inferno. I've been
Yeah,
reading those, and I was like, is it ending? No.
he's just doing something. Point. I don't know what's happening with him, Dahlia. But anyways,
Why not, Spire? Isn't he one of your people?
one of yours. But anyway,
How come you guys can get? How come you guys can bring out a Limdal Young, but then you have cool shows like Solo Leveling and Second Life Ranker? Huh? Explain that.
cool is in the eye of the beholder. But in either
Tower
case,
of God.
thank you, Toast. Next piece of news. So this is actually pretty important. So Japanese Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide, announced on Tuesday that the national government will formally decide on Thursday on the request for a declaration of a state of emergency in Tokyo and the neighboring prefectures of Saitama, Kanagawa, and Chiba. The declaration will be in response to the high rate of new infections of the new coronavirus disease, COVID-19, and will be in place from Friday, January 8th to Sunday, February 7th. So this is, again, because of the sort of second wave of COVID and, of course, the new variants. Yeah? Some companies have already pushed back or delayed events in anticipation of such a declaration. So a lot of things happen. Hopefully, stuff
Yeah,
doesn't get
fucking
worse.
Wonder Festival got canceled. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is getting canceled or delayed. It's very unfortunate. You have to do what you have to do. Next and final. Oh wait, this is. Oh yeah, okay. So that's pretty much all the non-people news for today. People news. One. Members. So voice actor Brad Venable has unfortunately passed away at the age of 43. So he voiced roles in Toriko, Scratch Banappu and One Piece, Daz and Attack on Titan, Kajit and Overlord, Sami in Dragon Ball Super, Kaki and Hunter x Hunter, The Last Mission, so forth. Please do wish his friends condolences. Next, the Sankei Shimbun reported in 2014 that manga translator Stefan Koza had been arrested on July 15th of that year. So this was a while back in the town of Kamimiyagi on the suspicion of violating Japan's Minor Offenses Act by trespassing and secretly taking recordings in an elementary school. Oh, what the fuck? In an elementary school's dressing room, or elementary school's girls' dressing room. Koza reportedly denied the charges. So this is later on. Now, I believe Koza used citizen who was 26 at the time of his arrest in Japan, reportedly become an assistant language teacher, or ALT, at the school in August.
What?
These people. So later on, this is blah blah. Oh, okay. So this is sort of like a further expose. So earlier, I believe, or last year in December 7th of 2020, he was arrested in Virginia. Holy sh!
Yeah,
Dude,
he works for Viz.
This guy formerly lived so I previously lived about, I want to say, less than an hour away from this guy. Oh my god, that's scary.
Damn, Spire, he's in your vicinity. Go catch him.
Go catch him. I prefer not to lay hands on. But he was arrested.
Do you need backup? I'll come.
I need freaking gloves more than anything else. And Koza was arrested on December 7th of last year, 2020. Possession and distribution of child pornography, according to Virginia's Herndon Police Department's weekly crime report. 33-year-old is being held without bond on 5 felony counts of possession and 5 counts of distribution of child pornography. And apparently, this news was further expose, and he had previous crimes. Japan took recordings of underage girls or elementary school girls in Japan. So, fuck this guy.
Cool guy.
Don't do this, kids, for obvious reasons. Next.
What do you mean, kids? More like, don't do this, adults.
Yeah, I mean, don't do this to anybody, really. Nobody should do this. So, final piece of news. Bushiroad announced on Friday that it has filed a lawsuit in the Tokyo District Court against the contracted creator of the Future Card Buddy Fight card game, Yoshimasa Ikeda, and his company Studio Ikechi, for disseminating confidential information about Buddy Fight as well as copyright infringement and credibility damage to. So he kind of, he and his company kind of are having back and forth with Bushiroad, who's sort of the overall publisher of, and probably license holder of the Buddy Fight card game. So they're having a back and forth copyright lawsuit. So unfortunate. These do happen. Yeah, that was it for the news these past 2 weeks. And now we come to our shoutouts and callouts. Again, everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout each. Shoutout is something that you want to give 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many stars out of 5 extra you want to give to this wondrous, glorious, splendid thing that you're talking about. And it can be any one person, place, or thing, of course. And call out, obviously, to any one person, place, or thing that you want to rage, rant, you want to talk badly about. And we will start with Nier. Shout out and call out, please.
Oh, jeez, man. I mean, have you seen the news?
Yeah, I love Twitter.
Yeah.
Free
Yeah.
Neo.
I mean, shoutouts to Shadowverse. It's pretty fun. The new expansion's pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Nier, how do temporary gems work?
You spend them on temp cards. Temp cards are
What?
basically just
When do they go away?
they don't go away.
Nice.
Temp cards are basically just cards that you can't turn into like animated versions. But yeah, they're basically just free cards. They introduced them, and I think they had intended to make them like go away eventually, but then they were just like, yeah, that would suck. So then they didn't do that. But yeah, current expansion's pretty fun. Callouts to I don't really want to get political, so I'll just call out
It's
I'll
okay
just
to
call out
call
Wonder
out
Festival
politics, just
being
keep it short.
canceled.
Yes, one place we can. And obviously, fuck you to whatever happened last. Or
Yeah. Yeah, fuck Republicans. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Dark. Shout out call, please.
My shout out. Hey, I'm shouting out. Shouting out Grand Blue Fantasy. Been cool. It's been pretty cool. Been adding cool characters. Hopefully Vajra's on cap is really, really good as well. But yeah, that game's been cool. I guess call out. Second thing Nier's thing, not about Wonderfest, but may as well throw it out there. But yeah, I don't know. Fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what else to
It's
call
pretty
out.
awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck it. Call outs to Grand Blue as well, because the Arcarum sucks, and they added Arcarum, and that sucks too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an interesting idea, but when you have like regular Arcarum tickets still existing in the game, and then you're also like, okay, but also here's this other Arcarum. Why? I don't want to do Arcarum all day. And then it's like on top of that, you're like, yeah, but what if we also introduced a new fucking event every week? And it's like, well, you mean like some downtime to accomplish something?
It's
Haven't been granted that.
That's how I feel with Azure Lane right now. Right now, it's Operation Siren to get those fancy Ash ships, but at the same time, you got to do the Iron Blood event, and so I got to grind like 6+ hours every day for both, and it's like, I don't really want it. But I do want Hiryu meta. Whatever.
so let's moving on then.
Spire, you done? You back yet?
Yeah. Well, I'm
From
here.
the
I've been here
place?
for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Toast.
Hello. My
Oh, okay.
shout out. What?
Shout out
Call
and
out?
call it, please.
My,
Both.
my, shout out. My shout out is to Umaro Poco's 3D in 5 hours. Yeah. Watch it. I want to see if she really can do a cartwheel.
And your
If she can't, then it's okay, but I want to see an attempt.
okay.
Coco did a fucking flip, so
My call out is to Twitter. Hashtag free Mio. She did nothing wrong.
Sure.
And to the other stuff that's happening in the VTuber industry.
My shout out.
Wash your hands.
Oh yeah, yeah. Watch it. My shout out is to. I don't have anything that I'm like.
Dude, double up.
What? I'll double
If
up
you-
on like callouts.
Yeah, do it. Or shout out. Do it. It's more
Oh,
fun.
no. I have to. I do want to keep the rule. And but I want to say my. I'll probably just shout out honestly my electric blanket right now that I have on me for keeping me sane and not just lying actually active and not stuck and trying to thaw out in place in my room or in my house.
Electric blanket. Wow, ritzy. Do you even have a kotatsu right now?
No, I do not have Kotatsu.
Why not? You're on a laptop, right? Get a kotatsu.
Yeah. I've always found Kotatsu to be kind of like I always kind of sweat underneath the Kotatsu.
Point. Here, kotatsus aren't for tall people, right? You'll be fine.
Thanks, Toast. Anyway, so that's my shout out to my electric blanket. My call out is honestly to the entire Western or English speaking, I guess, VTuber fan community. First,
What I do?
First, there's these people that they're trying to list good VTuber subs. It's like a Twitter account that posts good VTuber.
Oh, I know what this is about. Okay.
And the issue is they don't even the curators for this, the guy who's curating this list doesn't even know what he's talking about because half these subs are not good. And then he even writes on here the recommended list of translator. He's just like blah blah. These are protocol professional level, which 80% of these guys are not very good, except maybe
Number
I want to
one.
say five or six of these guys are okay. And then this guy also puts on this line. Any speed subbers that may be included in this list have good intentions and have shown to improve. No, do not do that.
Intention.
Spire, I know you have good intentions, okay? That's why you're...
I mean, a
That's why
lot
you're on
of
this list.
a lot of the ESL subbers have good intentions. They're
like
just
the
bad.
point of this is to have good subs. It's not to have like, oh, bad people, but they're okay. They're gonna improve something. No,
Well, actually, no. I
it's
shouldn't even
supposed
say.
to-
I shouldn't even say that because they don't have good intentions. Because if
As
they had
lo-
good
as long as
intentions,
they
would actually take
improve,
their
they
time.
have
They
good
wouldn't speed
intentions.
sub. The whole point of speed subbing is their intention is to get there as fast as possible to get all the views.
Yeah, exactly.
What
So
if they
don't-
What if they have big subs that improve over time, Spire? I know some on that list definitely are improving.
They're still bad.
Why do you
I
hate
mean,
them?
if they're speed subbing, then it's still bad.
I
Still not
apologize
good.
for being an elitist asshole, as many people have often called me out on. But it is not. They're not good sus. So
Okay,
don't
you
put it
can't be an elitist when it comes to a fucking language.
in- that's what
That
that's what
doesn't
everybody's
count.
been called. That's what
That
everybody
doesn't
calls me. I'm
count.
just the
Oh,
elitist
you're an
asshole. Sorry.
elitist. Oh, you have more than a fucking like second grade grasp on the English language. You fucking elitist. Like,
I
sorry.
apologize. But and on
For
top of
Spire,
that,
not everyone can be the top 1% of subbers.
the reason why I called out the general VTuber community and not or the fan community and not just the subbers or whatever is because I also wanted to call out kind of what Toast did, where it was so recently, I think just today, right, or yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I think Toast. A bunch of freaking. I mean, this was bubbling under the surface. You would say that, right? This was simmering under the surface for quite a while, but it just kind of popped out now. It's been simmering for quite a while, but then it just kind of burst, where a bunch of Western fans got in a flurry where they're, oh, these people are self-proclaimed Shoutouts or lolicons. This can't happen. Freaking cancel them on Twitter. And apparently, Mio, I said Mio,
Hashtag free Mio.
Mio's Twitter, the Hololive YouTuber, got banned. And what I would like to say is when people in the Japanese community are making comments like I like NTR or I'm a Shotokan or I like humiliation fetish or whatever it is the Nijisanji people like, right? All those the people that have the fetish or whatever, like I like strangulation fetish or whatever it is, or I'm a Shotokan, I'm a lolicon. They don't mean they're not actually going out there and like molesting people or like they're not asking to get choked on the streets or whatever it is, right? They're not. They see these things in their erotic dojins or in their hentai or in their manga or whatever, and they're like, man, freaking I schlick or I masturbate to these or whatever it is. That's not. There's a difference between them seeing that in 2D and they're like, oh man, I have that fetish, quote unquote, and them going out and doing it in real life. Just like when
Anime's real, buddy. Sorry.
yeah, that's true. When they're freaking, there's a person playing young kid playing League of Legends, and man, let's rape this team or whatever it is, or let's rape this guy who's jumping freaking whatever he's a jungler or whatever, and when he's saying that stuff, he doesn't mean he's actually doing it in real life, right? It doesn't mean that he's a convicted felon. It means, that's the language that he's using. And to be sure, it's sensitive language. I agree. It's sensitive language, but you have to understand that's like, first of all, that's sort of how the community is structured. And second of all, they don't actually mean the harmful things you think it means. So freaking leave it be and stop causing such a fuss over something that clearly does not have the intent that you think it does. Please.
No, sorry.
Sorry, they're just.
I mean, the really sad part about all these situations is that it's like, if fucking Tumblr had stayed the cesspool that it was, it would have never fucking migrated to Twitter, and all of these people would continue to be completely voiceless and irrelevant.
Right. So that's just what I wanted to get off my chest. This is again the difference between like Western communities, right? Especially the US UK communities who consider, places like Twitch, like Nico Nico, like YouTube, to just be kind of like different platforms, and whatever people say, like they obviously have to like if Japanese people say something, that means they have to double check it with like all the others or cultures that are mixing in with that platform and make sure it's kind of airtight or waterproof. And that's not what a lot of other communities think. That's not what Japanese community thinks. That's not what the um, Chinese community thinks. Or Hasten Chat says Americans are way too sensitive with sexuality in general. That's one thing, but I think the general
I think
way you can
Americans are
perceive
just
it.
too sensitive in general.
Well, I think
In
the
a lot
bigger
of
thing
ways.
is, I think the bigger thing is like this. So this is a little bit of tangent, but if, for instance, some American on Twitter, right, anime fan or whatever, VTuber fan or whatever, who has these certain views on it, gender politics or identity politics, right, sees some Japanese person or Korean person or Chinese person or VTuber, whatever personality, whoever, right, even some random person on Twitter, artist, right, they do some action, right? Maybe they draw Nessa a little bit lighter, or from Pokemon a little bit lighter, or they say they're a Shotokan or whatever. And then what they do is they assume that that message has sort of already been curated, like that sort of message is the tone that it could convey to the reader. They assume that the Japanese person knows what tone that conveys to an American person, or a person living in the UK, or a person living in France, or a person living in Russia, or a person living in whatever, right? And so that's not the case with the Japanese community on YouTube or on Nico Nico or whatever. They are all separate, like these ecosystems that have their own established culture and language and kind of whatever that they do. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
the fantasy.
it's also just like these people are just cripplingly fucking autistic and just like I don't know if they're just like upset that their sort of like hobby is like semi fringe and like they see that as like some sort of outlet, or they're just clout chasing. I mean, there was the fucking like Grand Blue shit that happened recently too with the new character, where fucking Twitter had a fucking meltdown, and then it's like they're like, "Ugh, she's listed as 15." It's like, yeah, but who cares? Like,
I mean,
fucking
again, something
giraffe with
like
huge tits. Like, all right. Like
daily
whatever.
reminder.
And
Again,
then meanwhile these people have fucking Twitter avatars, and it's like, okay, who's your Twitter avatar? Oh, fucking Kime from Grand Blue as a 10-year-old boy. Like
yeah. And
like
also,
dude,
I
fuck
also
off.
want to say daily reminder. People really like stuff like Monica, and Axel World is decently popular. Have you seen the movie covers for like every Nier might know this better, but with
Yeah.
each successive
Why are you
Monica,
outing Nier?
with with each successive movie, it's
You
almost
know
a
me.
meme, right? With each successive Monica movie, they put more and more like scantily clad or like they put Homura in each of the Monica movies, like
Yeah.
mode posters, and every successive movie she becomes more scantily clad. Like that's actually a thing if you've seen it, and it's like these people are not. Like Homer a high schooler, right? It's high school, right? Um,
I mean, I think Homura is supposed to be like older because she's like a hot
right.
time
'Cause
traveler,
she
right?
time
But
travel, yeah,
yeah, I
funny.
mean, for all intents and purposes, they're high school students.
Yeah,
So,
high schooler and Excel World, they're all middle schoolers and stuff like that. So this is all like you know what I mean? We're already in this mess. You
There's
just don't know
fucking
how deep it's
Misaki from Railgun.
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys are already kind of enjoying this, except you guys are just picking out the specific parts that you guys are suddenly angry at. Like you guys have to understand the structure
Yeah,
and
it
how
also does beg the question. It's like, where were you? Like,
yeah, exactly. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I had. And yeah, that was our shoutouts and callouts. The first shout out and call out of the year, right? As well as the first news, so on. So we are back onto our regular schedule, and hopefully next podcast, so we'll be to you live with more, I guess, hopefully more developed anime series, right? Because this is all based off these reviews were all based off our episode 1 perspectives. So hopefully by the time next podcast, when it's all episode 3, we'll have a better grip on things. But yeah, plenty of series to go through, and we'll be covering more of them next time. And if you like what we do, we stream our podcast recording live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the number 4. So here, we talk about the latest and greatest Japanese animation, media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, so much more. So here we have our recorded VODs, so you can check them out whenever you want. And of course, we also have them on YouTube format on our YouTube channel, 4PlayerAnimecast. There, social media, on Facebook and Twitter, Facebook 4PlayerAnimecast, and on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast, and all with a numeral for more updates and information. That.
Hold on 1 second. I forgot something.
Yes.
Shout out to Brennan Williams becoming a VTuber. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, he's
And-
gonna debut soon.
And
Shout out to that guy. He's a cool dude. Check him out.
February 3rd, I think.
yes. That. We'll see you next time.